Clips.
And remember, citizens, always subscribe. Hit the notification bell as well. And $19.95 plus shipping and handling will keep you out of hell. 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 Well, that was quite an impressive sound effect, even though I didn't mean it. I'm going to sound like I think I might actually sound like Sir Keir Starmer, and it's cold, not cocaine this time. Unfortunately. Anyway, so it's the fallout from last night's debate. I don't know if it's just my pre-programming where my head's at, but I'm watching this and I'm like, there's just nothing really legit. It doesn't seem sincere or legitimate. And what I mean in the sense that if you were in a genuine room with people who have different ideologies, different opinions, different ideas of how to run things, yada yada yada, you say that isn't what would happen. You wouldn't be sitting there arguing about stupid percentage points here and there and a whole load of crap. The way I've always explained it, with regards to like Parliament as such, they're there to discuss the crumbs that fall off the real table, where the real decisions are made, where the real decision makers sit. And then they'll go, right, okay, to appease the people, to appease the commoners, throw a couple of crumbs to the House of Commons, the House of Commoners, and let them argue over that tripe. You know, like, there's really no, in my humble opinion, no real decision making getting made in that gaff. It's all theatre. And that's kind of proven just by if you go and investigate what the party political process is. Anyway, afternoon, TJ. I've got man flu, so will be stopping to snot every so often. Which means I'm probably going to leave myself on mute quite a lot. Oh man, woke up this morning with that horrible throat. Alright, DJ. So, I mentioned this last night during the debate about it looks like factions within the Conservative Party are, I wouldn't even say bringing Sunak down. They're just running them into the ground, and it's not for the benefit of Labour. It's for the benefit of Nigel Farage, people with crystal balls, the Mystic Meg motherfuckers out there who are planning for the future, planning for the next campaign. They know the writing's on the wall for this one, so they are gearing themselves for 5 years' time. And what it looks like to me is trying to position Nigel Farage as the going to save us from Sir Keir Starmer's absolute shit show, which no doubt we will get, but don't worry, he'll blame it on the Conservatives. You know, like the Conservatives blamed their shit show on Labour, and Labour blamed their shit show on, was it John Major and all that, wasn't it? I think John Major was the last Conservative did, if memory serves. So I've got some olives. That healthy? Better than veggie pakora. Anywho, so have a wee touch on the fallout of what happened last night. If I can turn this on. Also, see what else is in the news, because I was going to do that anyway. So, good place to start. Being in Britain and all.
With the search.
Slowly pull.
Is it just me? Is it just me, or like when something like that happens, you know, like, well, I know it's not just me, but I'm saying, is there anything to, like, your spidey sense going off and thinking, something really strange and weird going on? But just the wall-to-wall coverage this guy going missing is getting, you know? It seems pretty cut and dry that he's went for a walk in the Mountain East region and he's fell and died, whatever, yada yada. And I heard today, in fact, let's have a wee listen.
Away, and then it looks like being a day of sunshine and showers. Most of the showers across central and northern areas, and these could be quite heavy across northern Scotland. But with that northerly wind, the air down from the Arctic, it's going to be a chilly day for the time of year, 10 to maybe 15 or 16 degrees in the south. And we hold on to that chilly northerly wind through Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday, bringing sunshine and showers and chilly nights. But by the end of next week, it does look like temperatures will slowly start to recover as we cut off that chilly northerly. That's it from me. Take care.
Take care, bud. Thank you. That really means something.
Live from London, this is BBC News. Israeli security forces say they've rescued 4 hostages in a special operation in Nuseirat in central Gaza. The BBC obtains new video footage believed to be one of the last 2 sightings of missing TV and radio presenter Michael Mosley. President Biden's 2-day state visit to France is underway.
The BBC are now propagating video footage that
Gaza, China and the global economy. Politicians are out again this weekend, vying for support as the UK general election draws closer. Thousands of motorcyclists ride from London to Cumbria to celebrate the life of the hairy biker Dave Myers.
Nothing about... It's strange, isn't it? Nothing about, like...
Hello, I'm Lauren Taylor. Israeli security forces have rescued 4 hostages from 2 separate locations in Nuseirat in central Gaza. They've been named as Noah Agamami, Almog Merjan, Shlomi Ziv and Andrei Kozlov. All had been abducted by Hamas from the Nova Music Festival on October the 7th. Here's the moment Agamani was reunited with her father while being transferred. She's also spoken on the phone to Prime Minister Netanyahu. And this is the moment where 2 of the hostages arrived in a helicopter at the hospital in Tel Aviv. All 4 of the released hostages are said to be in good medical condition.
Of the lesser parties
Israeli security forces said the operation was long planned and conducted under heavy fire. The IDF spokesperson, Daniel Hagari, has said that Israeli forces rescued hostages from Hamas whilst under fire.
This morning at 11 a.m., Israeli special forces conducted complex hostage rescue mission and successfully rescued 4 of our hostages from Hamas captivity in Gaza. Noah Agamani, Almog Merjan, Shlomi Ziv, and Andrei Kozlov. They are back home in Israel.
With regards to
they are alive.
The debate
they are well.
Last night.
They will undergo medical examination and will soon be reunited with their families in the hospital.
Stabbed in the back.
Noah, Almog, Andrei, and Shlomi were rescued after 246 days in Hamas captivity after they were brutally kidnapped from the Nova Musical Festival on the 7th of October. This was a high-risk complex mission based on precise intelligence conducted in daylight in 2 separate buildings
amazing.
Inside Gaza.
Oh!
While under...
You could almost mistake this as a reading of an erotic novel.
Fire under fire inside the buildings, under fire on the way out from Gaza. Our forces rescued our hostages. Israeli forces.
At this time, we engaged our Rambo forces. They had red things round their head, and they fought off 20 million Hamas fighters with just their Rambo knives. That's right. It was a special Rambo force.
Forces have been preparing for this rescue mission for weeks.
War porn.
They underwent intensive training. They risked their lives still being...
Government. Well, let's bring
I think they only killed about 20 civilians.
In our correspondent John Donnison. And John, it sounded like it was
said to be in good
health. People are saying...
Certainly we've reported
PR victory that they needed, didn't it?
It all begins with a piece of intelligence that we create a map.
Yeah, this guy sounds like he grew up in the fucking desert, didn't he? Oh no, he sounds like he just fucking grew up down the road from me. Now he's fighting in the IDF.
What is happening, where they're being hidden, which location.
Can anybody, seriously, like this is a serious question, answers on a postcard? I guarantee there is obviously examples. In fact, I can think of two myself right now with those two plums that are fighting for fucking Russia in the Ukraine front. But anywhere else, there's very few places in the world that you can go to their armed forces or whatnot, especially like top-up spokesholes who don't even have an accent for that fucking country. It doesn't matter the colour of your skin, your fucking race. It's like, if you belong to an area, you fucking sound like it. Do you know what I mean? Apart from all the BBC spooks who accents, just nothing.
Nations,
and
then who are the people that are who are guarding them? Where are they exactly being held? Under what conditions? Of course, there's a very, very challenging reality because it's both on the ground, deeply within the civilian population of Nuseirat, intentionally within civilian homes.
Well, DJ,
and this is what Hamas has done. We've heard
area.
These reports and testimonies from hostages
that
have been formally released at the end of November that they were being held in civilian homes. And it was the same this morning what we found in the operation as it was successful. Indeed, they were being held in civilian homes. We were able to reach there with our special forces, a combined force that was able to engage and extract safely the hostages that were being held. They came under fire, extensive fire. We have an officer that was wounded, injured critically in the extraction and is currently in hospital.
Now, we heard our correspondent there say that doctors in the area...
Right. A critical injury. Does that not mean death? Or does it mean... Right, I don't know.
Had said that at least 50 people appear to have been killed as a result of this operation. We've heard from
semantics,
a separate figure from Hamas, which I know you'll question, of 93 Palestinians killed in those strikes as part of this. What's your feeling about the level of casualties that civilians are taking in order to rescue 4 hostages?
Oh, just under 100.
Every civilian life lost in this war is a deep tragedy. It's a tragedy, nevertheless, that Hamas are responsible because they initiated this war on the October 7th attack, and they intentionally positioned all of their assets, including our hostages, within the civilian population. So when we mobilized in a war zone where Hamas has fortified their positions within houses, hospitals and schools, when they're firing from places like that, and we are responding, then there is a challenge for every military force. We need to operate, we need to bring home the hostages. We would much rather the hostages be released without us needing to operate. But unfortunately, Hamas have not and are not releasing the hostages, and they're continuing to emotionally extort the tension from Israel and Israeli society. And our responsibility as the military to seek out the intelligence, find the operational opportunity, and conduct the operations to bring the hostages home.
And given how long this operation has been going on and how much damage the Israeli forces have inflicted on Gaza and that whole area, are you surprised that Hamas can still be firing on your troops when you're going in there to rescue hostages? Are you surprised by the level of resistance you're still getting?
No, Hamas has, over the last 17 years, built its capabilities up in, specifically for this war. They had, when they decided to invade Israel on the 7th of October and come into our homes and abduct people from the Nova Music Festival, like Noah.
They would be the homes that you, I don't know, where were the attacks? I can't even remember. Was it in the Gaza Strip? I mean, again, like, if you want to go down the route of they hit us first, well, look at the history, go back to the creation of Israel. Who hit who first? I mean, it's a pathetic defence in the first place. It is childish, man. It's like two kids at the back of the motor hitting each other, and their excuse for like two kids in the back of the motor fighting, and one of them has a baseball bat or a knife, and their excuse for turning around and using it is because the other side started it first. And then again, that's even semantics, because who started it when? What conflict? Because there's been 1,000,001. How many wars? Israel took over the Sinai at one point, I think. If I'm no mistaken, when they were at war with Egypt. Fucking every bit of land they've had to like kick fucking Arabs off. They could then say, oh, it's ours, the Jewish homeland, Hitler, Holocaust. Don't question us. Listen to this guy in the Israeli army. Listen to his Israeli accent.
The money that you reported about. They did it with intent. They did it with after they built their forces up in a way which will create a huge challenge for a regular military trying to defeat a ruthless, merciless enemy. So, of course...
They with the intent of what, buddy? Did they just wake up one day and go, let's go and kill people randomly? I mean, like, you can point at the IRA and the bombings and the people that they killed and all that shit and just go, well, they're terrorists, they're terrorists, they're terrorists, they're terrorists, they're terrorists, they're terrorists, they're terrorists. But that's a very small, naive and fucking ignorant, stupid way to not only, like, look at it, but try and understand it. Right, okay, did we Shamish there just wake up one morning and go, I'm going to go and blow up cunts? Or is there some backstory? Is there some sort of a shit going on that this fucking foreigner in the fucking... Look at that ginger fuck. Mate, you better have packed your suntan lotion. You're going to last like 30 seconds in the fucking desert. Fucking talking about fucking camouflage, man. You need a fucking bubble. Fucking umbrella. You need to go into fucking war with a rifle in one hand and an umbrella in the other to make sure you don't melt, ginger. Anyway.
As we push forward, wherever we're operating, whether it's in Nuseirat or Burej or in the southern areas in and around Rafah, so they are still operational. They still have operational capabilities, and most importantly, they're still holding 120 hostages. The whole operation. There are two ways to.
Schultz, he says that the Gaza hostage rescue is, quote, an important sign of hope. So more reaction coming in to that news of 4 hostages being rescued today in Gaza, Israeli hostages who were taken on October the 7th by Hamas. Well, for more on this, let's speak to Akiva Elder in Tel Aviv. He's a political analyst, contributor to Haaretz newspaper and author of Lords of the Land.
We must do something for Israeli that go there and call for...
See, for all these people staying in the desert,
in Gaza, he said that we're committed to doing so in the future as well. Will not let up the Hamas-run Gaza government giving those figures for civilian casualties. Between Hos and Rhodes is 40 hostages by the Israeli military.
This is getting some good titillation. This is going to be a Netflix
man believed to be the missing TV and radio presenter Michael Mosley on the Greek island of Simi has been seen by the BBC. Dr. Mosley vanished 4 days ago while on holiday on the island, which is between Hos and Rhodes. His 4 children have arrived on the island to help look for him, and the family have described the last few days as unbearable. Our correspondent Normandy reports.
More footage of what appears to be Michael Mosley at 2 p.m. last Wednesday, leaving the village of Pethi. It's thought to be one of the last known sightings of him.
I would like him to elaborate why you think that's him. Did you notice him because that was his umbrella? That's what he was wearing. I'm assuming so, because that could be anybody.
Rescuers are still trying to piece together what happened. Greek police said he left his wife on the beach at St Nicholas at 1:30 p.m. From there, it's thought he walked into Pethi.
That was the
Today's
wife.
footage puts him near
And
the
then
marina
she dressed up
on
in
the
his
other side
clothes
of the village,
with her head in the
towards
umbrella
Rocky Hills.
to cover up tracks.
A search and rescue operation involving helicopters and drones continues. This mountainous terrain is described as not easy by those involved with the search.
I'm joking, by the way, don't fucking stop.
The time that Michael Mosley set off on his walk was also one of the hottest parts of the day. He had been staying in the main town on the island, around 1 mile from Pethi. When he went missing, he did not have his phone. One theory that has emerged is that he was trying to take a much longer route than previously thought, passing over miles of exposed hillside. His 4 children have arrived on Simi to help with the search. The island's mayor said the search will continue until he is found.
Oh, God.
Now I'm about to do something that many years ago...
Michael Mosley is known to many as a trusted guru of good health, a TV producer and presenter who is an advocate for intermittent fasting, including the 5-2 diet. For now, there are more questions than answers. How could someone just disappear on such a small island? His wife Claire has also been involved with the search, alongside friends. She said the days since he went missing have been unbearable, but that the family will not lose hope. Normandy, BBC News.
Our correspondent Joe Inwood is in Simi and gave us an update on the search operation.
Yeah, so the CCTV that Nor was referring to is taken from just here. This is the marina, and that is the hillside that they think he is on. Now, we were up there about an hour or so ago, and it is absolutely baking. But you can see in the distance search and rescue teams trying to locate Dr. Michael Mosley. But as we know, at the moment, there has been no sign of him. They are continuing. They keep going until the light goes down. And they have said that they will keep searching until they find the missing broadcaster.
I want to speak to Alex Liamos now, who is the head of operations for volunteer search group, the Hellenic Rescue Team. He joins me in Thessaloniki. Tell us a bit, you've got a team, I understand, heading to the area. Tell us a bit about that and what their specialty is.
Is it just titillation? Is it just because it is like who done it, what's happening thing? Is this guy Jesus under the table?
To join the rescue search and rescue operation.
Evan, how you doing?
With search dog.
And listen, I don't know, I'm hoping people are sensible enough to like, shoot the shit, have a fucking giggle, theorise and all that, and not be so stupid to go and start like trolling, going on to website, going on to Twitters and all that. And
so far we know it's
just
rocky
having
terrain.
giggles.
The paths are clear, but it's rocky terrain without any trees or...
Abducted by aliens, that mate. It's been a long time since somebody's been abducted by aliens. Maybe we're going to get that fucking big specky ex-NASA cunt that fucking tries to sell UFOs to everybody. Gerling or Greenberg or some shit. He rears his ugly head every so often, doesn't he?
And it's something that is not helping the whole situation.
Levels.
And what about the water? If indeed the water is a factor here, if someone were to end up in the sea there, what would the prognosis be?
Well, my prognosis would be, I hope they can fucking swim. Come on, fuck, sweetheart, man. Fucking hell, you're not fucking showing fucking the vagina brains off very fucking well there, man.
Yes, that's another
I hope we can swim.
Big question. From the first day...
It's not a big question, I hope we can swim.
Report missing.
And not hot any rocks in the way down.
5 rescue boats from the Coast Guard and several private boats conducted search operation in the sea area without any results. And they also mobilized divers to search the sea in case he's under the sea level without any results so far. In case he is in the water it's not so easy to survive. The temperature of the sea is not high enough. It's too early. Later in the summer, it's going to be much better, the temperature. And possibilities to survive in the water it's not so good.
Alex Liamos, thank you very much indeed. We appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. Thank you. Just to bring you an update now on the story that we're covering today of the 4 Israeli hostages who've been rescued in an operation by the Israeli military inside Gaza. We understand now that 1 Israeli Special Forces officer was killed during that rescue operation for the hostages. That's according to a police statement.
And that's the meaning of life. I don't think it'll ever come back to me.
That's been issued to Reuters. So,
Devin,
One
thanks.
Israeli Special Forces officer killed
It's
during the rescue operation,
snot, man.
which has brought back 4 Israeli
doing
hostages
it
who've been
alone,
held
doing
in Gaza since
I'm
October the 7th.
very forgetful.
We'll bring you more on that, of course, as it develops. Well, here in the UK, parties are back on the campaign trail following last night's 7-way debate.
Yay!
The politicians locked horns over the
topic.
economy, armed forces, NHS.
And remember, folks, there's a wee poll up there. There is no right, there is no wrong answers. It's an opinion poll. Has Sunak been sabotaged by pro-Farage elements in his own party? To me, I think it's obvious he's getting sabotaged by inside his own party. Whether it's pro-Farage elements or not might be debatable. It might just be that woman that was the lioness that turned up last night for the debate. It might be her kind of trying to play him down so that she'll be ready for the next time around. Or it could be pro-Farage elements bigging up Vag, you know, to try and put the nails in the coffin of the old, just right of centre Conservative Party to a more far right leaning party. Anyway, let's see if we can see our lips move.
Immigration and climate policy. Today, the Conservatives are pushing a permanent cut to stamp duty, and Labour is outlining its position on business rates. With me is our political correspondent, David Corner. Thank you very much for coming in. So, tell me a little bit about the fallout from the election debate. How much impact do you think it would have had?
I think what
he's going to be Scottish, isn't he?
dominated the debate at the beginning, certainly, was the fallout from Rishi Sunak's decision not to attend the full commemorations for D-Day, and certainly that saw one of his own ministers, Penny Mordaunt, say that what he had done was completely wrong and apologise. It's not normal, is it, for a cabinet minister to criticise their leader during the middle of an election campaign?
Yep, you don't criticise your leader.
Apart from that, yes, there were the clashes on.
It's like in a football team, man. Everything, you keep everything in fucking house. Just ask fucking old Fergie. He had that shit nailed down.
And Labour, but it was a 7-sided debate, so everybody got to have their say, and the voter, the viewer, got a sense of the different choices available in different parts of the UK.
So meanwhile today the Conservatives are trying to move on from that D-Day row, aren't they? Tell us what they've been doing.
Please do that in the future, no doubt, when I do it again.
Trying to focus on what they think are some of their vote-winning policies, particularly on tax and motoring. In terms of stamp duty in England and Northern Ireland, what they're saying is that they would make the current tax break, if you like, for first-time buyers permanent. So a first-time buyer.
What I would like to see is one of them
425,000 and wouldn't
go to a certain area and just go, right, we're going to have a surgery and a boozer.
Permanent.
Right, turn up early. You get the most sense out of me. By the end of the night, fuck knows.
London low emission
and have a
zone,
fucking piss up
and they say
with
they
your
would reverse
constituents.
the current mayor of London's
It wouldn't get
to
done, you
expand
know,
the zone,
but I
which
think that
means
would have a far
drivers
bigger
of very
impact
old vehicles
than
pay
anything
about
else.
£12.50,
Imagine going into
to
a
go
local area
through
and just going
the
about a few
zone.
boozles.
They think that's a vote-winning policy, although it didn't really help them in the mayoral elections.
Hold on.
Khan was re-elected for Labour just last month.
Like so I'm working, I'm trying to think of something along the lines of pub crawl, right? But it would be like an election pub crawl. You know, you get the election campaign, an election campaign pub crawl,
and shops. And Labour said they would overhaul them to make it fairer, to create a more level
When
playing
you be
field
this
between
fucking fake
online
sitting there with a
stores
pint for the
and
cameras,
those on the high
like,
street. So
I'm
we know
Nigel
they're going to
Fresh,
overhaul
I
it.
smoke and drink lager. Vote for me.
The figures on this, because we don't know what would replace it, because if
you wanted to do quite a lot, in Glasgow you can do.
Just super briefly on the
Okay,
Lib Dems.
it's called
Lib Dems.
sub
They plant more trees and they
the
create
subways are
3
big circle,
national parks across England.
Okay, thank you very much.
Oh, hold on!
That's just about
That is it, yo. That is it. I'm going out. I'm going to go and register to vote because Lib Dems is doing something about national parks. This really means something to me, you know. These politicians are doing such a great job. They really speak to my heart and things that matter to me. And this is the stuff that's going to change my life on a day-to-day basis. See with the cost of living and nobody being able to fucking afford shit and universal credit and cunts not being able to fucking pay with their rent with addictions and all that kind of shit and getting kicked out left, right and centre and onto the streets and stuff. Well, at least the Lib Dems are going to create a few more park benches for us to go and fucking sleep on, man. So that is a great policy, man. Fuck dealing with the homeless, but we'll make some national parks with some benches. I think that's a good idea. Good idea. So the rich cunts get a wee park for during the day, and the poor fucking scumballs, we get a wee park bench at night time. Oh, and the gay, what do they call it, cruising or whatever? The gay people that shag each other in bushes at night. Cruising, whatever it's called. They get another bush to shag in. Man, that is a fucking vote winner, man.
That's all we've got time for. So do stay with us here on BBC News.
My in danger of losing there, so it was what? Right, so is that what they're giving us? It's the weight of the fallout.
Hello there.
I do
Looks
want
like
to
the
watch
weather's
this.
stuck
When
in a rut, really. We're going to hold on to fairly
shite.
cool weather for the time of year, with temperatures around just below the seasonal average. And part
It
2 of
looks
the
nice.
weekend doesn't look much better. If anything, the
It's
clouds will
freezing.
thicken up. We'll see some rain for some of us pushing down from the north, but there'll still be a little bit of sunshine here and there. Saturday, low pressure
Look,
to the northeast of the country,
Scotland
high pressure towards the southwest.
gets
That's bringing
pushed on.
northwesterly winds. A good deal of showers, particularly across the north and west of Scotland, the odd one elsewhere. Areas of cloud also spreading southwards, but plenty of sunshine in between. Not a bad afternoon, I think, to come for many of us.
Aye, for you English bastards, you cunt. Look at that Baltic up there. We're green. That can't be good. I don't know what it means, but it means something.
Many central and southern areas
It's
will
not
turn
as good
chilly
as
under clear skies.
red
Plenty
and
of showers
orange,
across
I
the
think.
northern half of the country, and cloud will start to build across western
sort of a
Scotland, Northern
gauge.
Ireland as these weather fronts move in. So where the cloud builds and temperatures just about double figures, otherwise for most we're in single digits. It's going to
DJ,
be
that is
another cool night.
honestly that would be a vote
Now,
winner.
for Sunday, we start off
Vote
fine,
winner.
then these weather fronts will start to push in from the northwest. Cloud will thicken up for many, and we'll see patchy rain at
Park
times.
benches,
So
not
bright,
buses.
but fine start for central, southern and eastern areas, but the cloud will build. Northern Ireland, southwest Scotland, northwest England, north Wales seeing some patchy rain.
More cruising areas and people for places for the homeless.
Probably south
They
west
fucking
corner,
get
and
sleep.
also the northern half of Scotland, where there'll also be a few showers.
We'll take
But with
money
more cloud line, I
away
think
from the
temperatures will be a
homeless
little bit lower
shelters.
for parts
It's
of
just
the
turned into big
weekend,
drug dens
between
anyway.
12 to
We'll put them into
18
public
degrees.
parks.
And then as we move
Good
through
for the
Sunday night,
rich,
those weather fronts
good
spread
for the
south across
scumbags,
England and Wales,
good for the
bringing
gay
outbreaks of rain.
cruisers.
Then we start to pick up
That's
northerly
what they're
winds. So
pretty
bit of a
called.
great
Is it
start with
cruising?
outbreaks of rain for Monday morning across eastern England. The rain slowly
Yeah,
pulling
it's
away,
not the
and then it looks like
afternoon.
being a day of sunshine and showers. Most of the showers across
Then
central and northern areas.
I've got my pot
and
noodle
these could be quite
policy.
heavy across northern Scotland. But with
Students
that
on board,
northerly
boom
wind, all the way
shakalaka.
down from the Arctic,
And
it's going to be a
nowadays,
chilly day. Time of
nobody's
10,
job. Nowadays, none of the young
16
people are
degrees
jobless.
in the
They're
south.
just
When we hold on
in
to that chilly
education.
northerly win through Tuesday, Wednesday.
So
and
it's a winner pot noodle fucking dinner.
By the end
So
of
well,
look like temperatures will
discounts on gym memberships, right?
That chilly northerly.
And these are all cheapest trips to buy votes. I mean, they need to spend fucking half as much as the Conservatives or the Labour do to get their house niggers to get them to voted in. You can do it on the cheap, man. Seeing this system of cheap pot noodles, all you do is get Kellogg's in. Who makes pot noodles? I think it's Kellogg's or something, innit? All you do is get Kellogg's in, right? And then you drop a tax. You drop the tax on cornflakes, for example, right? They make a bad load more money because you've dropped, because they're fucking making money for a lot of money for fucking flakes of corn with fuck all nutrition in them. It's a great scam, man. Take a kernel of corn, pound it to squeeze all the goodness out, then fucking stick it in the oven and sell it to the poor. I don't even think pigs. Nah, they eat everything. They eat their fucking young. I don't even think fucking some animals would fucking eat fucking cornflakes. Snuff it go.
The BBC World Service.
Cardboard.
Listen on sounds.
So, aye, this is how I would structure it, right? See, I'm a fucking political genius. Raise the tax, lower the taxes on cornflakes. Mr. Kellogg's fucking coining it in, but you tell him you need to put a little bit of the more profit he's making for that into subsidising the pot noodles, and then I sell the pot noodle fucking sprees, subsidies to the students, and boom shakalaka, man. And also, we lower the vote. I'm going to lower the voting age to 12. And what happens if you vote for me? You get a free toy. Free fucking toy. No, in fact, free app. £5 in the app fucking store. Ching, man, right. So I've got the youth, then I've got the old youth. You know, the ones we used to consider youth, now like now we're propagating and propagandising fucking 12-year-olds. So I'm all in, man. I need to get some power here, man. You know what I mean? Daddy be hungry for some power. So then get the gym discount for your fucking 25 to 45 to hitting 50 middle wage shit. And then what can we do for the OAPs? One free house clean every month, which makes make sure your house doesn't start stinking old cunts as you're getting old, you know.
Consecutive title at Roland Garros.
Man,
in her
way, think of that as a cracking manifesto.
Paolini, who's playing in a Grand Slam final for the very
I get
first
so
time.
much enjoyment
Now
out of
we
playing
are
with that
about
stuff.
30 minutes into the match, and I can tell you the Italian.
Who's this guy? Saturday. See, the weird thing is, there's always a lot of shit happening in the world on Saturday, and because the news isn't fully staffed, you get like all the like young dungs or whatever hanging about the office, you know, all the Monday to Friday mob are away having their hookers and blow. You get
but
weird
also to raise funds for
cannon
research,
fodder.
to find treatments, and hopefully, ultimately, a cure. And so today there is
that'll be
a
that
minute
dude that
silence
died
before
recently.
the start of all the matches that are happening here. There are others as
Oh, look at that crack. I think I managed to get it on the hour. See if it works. That is, if it works. Come on, universe. Yeah! See, I'm fucking magical. No, didn't work. It just went back to back to the beginning. The BBC hard belts and all. I'm pretty sure, maybe I'm daydreaming right, but I'm pretty sure somewhere I heard people debating and discussing whether the BBC could put adverts on their online stuff.
4 hostages alive from Gaza. They're said to be in a good condition.
This is what we do in Israel.
This is what we do. This is how we do it.
Also at 2, vanished without a trace. The search for a missing TV doctor on a Greek holiday island enters its 4th day. Slammed by his own party, why Rishi Sunak can't seem to move on from his D-Day faux pas.
See, that's where I want
Agony
to go to.
and delay. We meet the patients still waiting for treatment as NHS targets become a key election issue. And
They're just an issue, full stop.
Rob Burrow
You just don't want people to die on election year.
Good afternoon. Israel says it has rescued 4 hostages alive from Gaza. The group, who were captured by Hamas from the Nova Music Festival 8 months ago, are said to be in a good medical condition. Israel's military says they were rescued from 2 separate locations in the heart of Nuseirat, and it's now being reported by the Al-Aqsa hospital in Gaza that 93 Palestinian people have been killed in that area. Well, the hostages have been named as Noah Argamani, who's 25, Almog Mirjan, who's 21, Andrei Kozlov, who's 27, and Shlomi Ziv, who's 40. This was the moment Noah Argamani was reunited with her family in Kozlov and by Hamas.
Medical examination. No inside lives to save us in Gaza.
Medical examination? You mean a debrief? For the intelligence services? And right enough,
these
man.
were scenes of jubilation amongst beachgoers in Tel Aviv as they found out about the news. People cheered as lifeguards made the announcement over a tannoy.
They are back home in Israel.
International correspondent Alex Rossi has more from Jerusalem.
You see music that we have now. First time, of course, in 8 months since she was taken. And we've also seen images of her as well in the medical centre. We know she's family members and friends as well.
Of course, she's the first thing she wanted to be reunited with was her mobile phone.
They are okay, but this could, of course, back on
like his old.
They were waving Israeli soldiers that took part in it had fighting, but I think overall.
Is that Gareth Bale? I didn't know Gareth Bale was Jewish.
Well, we have an update for you now on this breaking by Hamas terrorists. Their rescue is a glimmer of hope in the darkness. We need an immediate ceasefire now to get all the hostages released, and a surge affairs editor.
The cabinet tonight, and who's decided now to at least the hostage. First time since
you know how much material they can
Palestinian civilians,
news organisations, programmes
fighters who Palestinians
can manage to kind of squeeze out
particularly the lot of a small country, but also because of the Jewish, these 120 are still, as we saw those very dramatic, very
talk for about 20 minutes, easy peasy, with like 30 seconds of footage, just one look. It looks like some sort of live feed, right enough, but
I think the images coming out of Israel this afternoon
it's the same guy
from the military.
As we heard from Daniel Hagari,
it's the same ginger fee.
Alluded to.
4th day, a spokesperson for the mayor's office has told Sky News there's no chance the search will be called off until he's found.
Simi is above anything else. Although it's a small place, it's a very devoted community, and from personal experience, I know how committed people are to helping and to pulling together and to achieving to the best of their ability in areas where it's difficult and people are struggling. So yes, I do believe they will keep searching until they find him. And I absolutely stand by that. And I'm sure that every authority and organisation that are helping will continue to do so until they have some more news.
Well, a short time ago, Dr. Mosley's wife, Claire, released this statement. It says, "It's been 3 days since Michael left the beach to go for a walk, the longest and most unbearable days for myself and my children. The search is ongoing and our family are so incredibly grateful to the people of Simi, the Greek authorities and the British consulate who are working tirelessly to help find Michael. We will not lose hope." Well, let's just remind you what we know so far. Well, Dr. Mosley is understood to have left his wife on St Nicholas Beach at 1:30 p.m. on Wednesday to go for a walk back to their accommodation. It should have taken less than an hour, but he didn't arrive.
Right, so him and his missus had a barney.
The route he took was reportedly along the coastal path past the Peddy area where he was captured on CCTV at around 2 p.m. that afternoon. He didn't have his phone with him.
Every picture I've seen
then shows Dr. Mosley walking along the
CCTV,
north side
can't
of
see
the
his face.
marina and speaking
That's
to
a bit
Sky
strange.
News.
Surely the footage you would show
spokesperson for the Simi
is the footage of
mayoral office
his
says all
fucking
effort
face.
will be made to find him. Well, from Simi, Sky's Sadia Chowdhury has the latest on the search for Dr. Michael Mosley.
I wonder if he was arguing with his missus.
Where Dr. Mosley was last seen.
He was with his missus.
You don't actually see
left.
much of a sign that any search or rescue operation is happening. A few moments ago, we saw some rescue workers in red suits coming down the mountain, making their way very slowly in this intense heat. And they came down, and we had a quick word with a few of them. They did say, you know, you have to wait till the police give you updates, but they talked about how hot it is and what the conditions are like up there. They'd been working for about 3 hours. Their search yielded no results, and they said it's not the kind of place they would recommend anyone to go for a walk, especially not in this heat. So certainly not any movement on that side. And we spoke to the mayor as well, and he's also reiterated that about how hot it is and why that's making the rescue operation so difficult, the search and rescue operation so difficult, saying that those search dogs that were supposed to be involved in this can't work in this heat. It's simply too hot for this to continue like this. We asked the mayor what he thinks might have happened to Dr. Mosley, because the local reports here are full of all sorts of wild theories about what might have happened. And he said he believes Mr. Mosley went for a walk. He started down on this side, on my left side, went round, and then the mayor thinks he might have had a heat stroke. And he's really emphasising about the hot temperature right now. He said that on Wednesday the temperature went close to 50 degrees, and he says that in conditions like that, anyone walking, whether they are young or old or local or from overseas, wouldn't cope well in a condition like that, let alone on a very long walk, having already walked a long time. But the mayor is hopeful. Earlier today, he was quoted in a local newspaper as saying that he believes Dr. Mosley will be found today. It's very optimistic. But as I say, we encountered some of those search and rescue teams. They said that they'd been out there for 3 hours, that it was too hot to carry on, that they hadn't yielded any results. We didn't see anyone else go up to replace them. And when I pressed the mayor on how many people are involved in this search, he took a few goes to give me a correct answer, but he said that there were about 100 people, but they're on a rotation scheme. And as I say, if you look around, you don't actually see anyone working. We've been here for a good couple of hours now. We haven't actually seen many people working. And I guess, you know, we're perhaps used to this idea that if somebody goes missing, there'll be flyers, there'll be posters, local people will be involved. You'll see tents being erected in places and clues of people walking around looking for the individual. But actually, we don't see any of that. It does feel a bit like business as usual.
Okay, we have some breaking news now on the hostage release from Gaza, and we're being told now that one Israeli Special Forces officer has been killed during the hostage rescue operation in Gaza. That's a police statement coming into us via the Reuters news agency. So one Israeli Special Forces officer has been killed during the hostage rescue operation.
Anybody
of course,
still
we
watching?
also have reports
Let us know in the
of
chat. Did you get
at least
kicked out? Did the
93
stream stop or
Palestinians
something?
being killed, and
As far as
that
I can tell,
news
the
that
stream
4
should be okay.
hostages taken by Hamas have today been rescued from Gaza.
Well,
You're watching Sky News Today. Coming up, More from the general election campaign as the Prime Minister tries to push past the arguments over his D-Day attendance, and Labour set out their stall for business.
Right. This is what I want to tune into.
Catch this killer.
Onto Giggle and just taking me in the middle of the night.
Disaster. Not the way out of the store. Ambassador with respect, I think.
The Conservatives and Labour are pushing out a raft of new potential policies in the wake of the row over Rishi Sunak's early departure from D-Day commemorations. The opposition are pledging to overhaul business rates, saying they should reflect differences between bricks and mortar companies and online retailers. Here's Sir Keir Starmer.
At the moment, there's not a level playing field between businesses that are online and those that are sort of bricks and mortar. It's been a problem for a long time. The government hasn't fixed it. And the small businesses have all gone through a really hard time in recent years. So that's our plan. We want small businesses to thrive because they're the backbone of our economy, and they need that stability in our economy.
Sky's political correspondent Tamara Cohen has the latest from the Labour campaign.
Well, we are in Aldershot, which is the area known as the home of the British Army. We've got a garrison right behind us, and this is an area which has been Conservative for 100 years. So the fact that Labour's Rachel Reeves is visiting today tells you something about how Labour feel there aren't really very many no-go areas for them now, even areas like this, which have a 17,000 Conservative majority. Now, this has been in the diary for a while, and Rachel Reeves was not here in the light of the events yesterday, with Rishi Sunak missing a D-Day event and suffering an enormous backlash as a result. But we did ask Rachel Reeves, who was here speaking to small business owners, what she thought of that decision and whether she felt people here would think his apology was enough. This is what she told us.
I think many people will feel incredibly let down by what the Prime Minister did in returning early from Normandy, but that's up to him to explain why he chose to do that.
If this isn't him getting stabbed in the back, then I don't know what it is, man. Oh God, I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me.
Starmer stayed in Normandy to honour and respect the veterans and their families and the sacrifice that they've made for our country.
Oh no, that's the Labour biatch.
I think it's up to people to decide whether they want to accept that, but I know that there is an awful lot of hurt and anguish because of the decision by the Prime Minister to leave Normandy early.
So she talked about hurt and anguish there. We were talking to some local residents in a cafe here who were switching from Labour to the Conservatives. D-Day was mentioned. One of the people we spoke to called it an insult for Rishi Sunak to miss that event. So this could be an interesting place on election night. Rachel Reeves is here talking about the party's plans on small businesses to make sure that they are paid on time and they don't have late payments, which is a big issue that they're facing. Also on the party's plans to abolish business rates and replace them with a different system. She's been visiting businesses with the High Streets guru Mary Portas, who once advised David Cameron on high streets, but she now says that she is backing Labour to, as she puts it, breathe new life back into our high streets.
Meanwhile, the Conservatives are trying to redirect focus back onto the general election with a pledge to cut stamp duty for first-time buyers on homes of up to £425,000. The manifesto announcement comes after Penny Mordaunt, the leader of the House of Commons, joined the chorus of disapproval at the Prime Minister's decision to leave the D-Day commemoration event in France early. Well, during an election debate last night, Miss Mordaunt, who stood against Rishi Sunak during the Conservative leadership race, said he was completely in the wrong and it was right that he apologised.
I think what happened was very wrong, and I'm glad the Prime Minister has said that and he's apologised. He's apologised to veterans, but I think he also has apologised to everyone, because he was there representing us.
Sky's Rob Powell is following the Conservative campaign for us.
The Tory battle bus just rolled into County Durham. The Prime Minister due here and at another campaigning visit in the North East this morning. Not doing any interviews with the national media or the broadcast media today. We have been expected a little bit of an opportunity to question the Prime Minister about events of the last day or two. That now not taking place. He may be doing some other more regional interviews though. You're right. I think the D-Day row will probably dominate for at least one more day. I think it was given a bit of a lift as a story by Penny Mordaunt's quite punchy comments in that debate last night, when she did go further than what the Prime Minister had previously said when he apologised, and she said that it was completely wrong for him to have left those events in France early. Interesting to see when Mark Harper, the Transport Secretary, someone quite close to the Prime Minister, was asked about that. He said he agreed with the Prime Minister and didn't necessarily comment on whether he agreed with Penny Mordaunt or not. Look, Penny Mordaunt is someone defending a constituency with lots of military personnel in it. She is probably going to have quite a tricky fight to hang on to that constituency potentially. So it's maybe no surprise that she did go a little bit further in her comments. I think the Tory campaign will hope by getting that apology in early, if you like, yesterday, they'll have kind of shortened the lifespan of this story. Look, we shall see how that plays out over the coming days. I think some damage had undoubtedly already been done just by the fact of that story existing, and you can expect Labour and Reform to try to bring that back up as much as possible. In terms of what the Tories want to talk about today, well, they are unveiling a policy connected to drivers. They essentially say they'd pass legislation in Westminster that would unilaterally repeal the ULEZ expansion in London. That's the low emission zone that was expanded to the outer parts of London by Sadiq Khan, the Mayor of London, earlier this year. They also said that legislation would mean that blanket 20-mile-per-hour zones, such as the ones that were used in Wales, that they would be ruled out as well. I think this is all part of trying to sort of pick a bit of a dividing line between the Tories and Labour on these so-called anti-car policies, as the Tories put them. I think the kind of side effect of that, though, is that you will get accusations that they are trampling all over devolution settlements and essentially trampling over powers that were sent to places like City Hall in London and the devolved government in Wales. I think the coming days as well, we may hear more about what we're expecting in the Conservative manifesto. I think both parties will be looking towards their manifestos now. And I think there was a big hint from Penny Mordaunt last night that we should expect something potentially quite significant on tax cuts in that manifesto. As I understand it, one of those tax cutting measures in the manifesto will be to make the tax cut on stamp duty for first-time buyers permanent, so no stamp duty up to £425,000 of property value. So I think after a lot of policies geared at older, more traditional voters, clearly something that the Tories are preparing to unveil to try and attract younger people back to the cause.
Woo!
And a reminder that Sky News' Leaders event, the Battle for Number 10, will take place on Wednesday, the 12th of June, with Rishi Sunak and Sir Keir Starmer in our election target town of Grimsby. Do join us on Wednesday, right here on Sky News, live from 7 p.m.
Yeah, it'll be great.
OK, let's take a look at the weather across the UK for you now. And the weather will be mixed over the weekend and
Scotland,
cool for
no
the
too
time
shabby
of
in
year. Low pressure will move away from northeastern Scotland, but it'll remain unsettled into the coming week. This afternoon, any remaining cloud and patchy rain will clear southeastern areas to leave a largely dry afternoon for England, Wales and Ireland. Temperatures will reach a pleasant 19 Celsius in the sunnier spots. You're watching Sky News Today. Coming up, we meet the patients facing long waits for treatment as NHS targets become a key election issue.
Like, the NHS is always a key election issue.
Arrested and charged within a fortnight of the murders.
It's Bronze, Charles Bronze.
To answer my letters. Martin Brunt, Sky News at the Old Bailey.
Okay. I'm developing a cough, a tickly cough, so I can't really talk, but Plums it in and sub up, bail up, all that jazz, and tune in later. And if Crossman's about and whatnot, I'll give him a shout and we'll do a Crossman and Kip cast on a Saturday afternoon. Alrighty, boob tubes. Hopefully my computer hasn't caught my virus, and we'll give it to you. Get it, got it. Kips Clips! And remember, citizens, always subscribe. Hit the notification bell as well. And $19.95 plus shipping and handling will keep you out of hell.